and 4th and 4. Immediately tackled by Oliver. Huskies take over 1st and 10.
I mean, you catch that ball, you just go down.
Oh yeah, that's why it takes guts to be a returner. They really like to throw some cleavers at you. You got a guy with wide open speed coming down the field, so you got a big target on your chest.
First and 10 at the 43 now. Just over 10 minutes to go in the game. 28-7. Huskies on top. Korf looks 3 wide. 2 back set. Singleton well over 100 yards and a whole lot more. 40, 35-30, cuts upfield 25-20, 15-10-5. Down at the 1-yard line.
That's a long way to go to be taken down at the 1.
He is having some kind of game. Chris Singleton, 50-some yards untouched.
Yeah, this is his career day. When you're shipping out tapes to colleges,
yes,
and to people, you show this game.
And you might also want to mention when you show this game that this is their #1 rivalry game,
yeah,
too.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, and I think anybody who's watching this tape down the road, I mean, just by the amount of people in the crowd, you have to understand this is a big, big game. And he's playing, you know, he's come up real strong.
Well, that's what you ask out of your star players, especially your seniors. Perform when you have to.
Well, you do, and when you need to, and you have to. And this guy has done nothing but that.
Singleton. Well, that's, yes, touchdown, singled now.
Well, the Huskies were certainly had their hands up the team. They waited for the officials. The players were sure of it.
What's weird is the officials just kind of waited. You know, they weren't really checking the ball either.
I think the line judge was going to dig in there, see where the ball was before he made any decision with this crowd going nuts.
Well, this will make it 35-7. I got to tell you, Tom, and not to take anything away from the Huskies, who have played fantastic. Maybe that's the difference. They were more, you know, better prepared for this game. I'm shocked by it. I really am.
Well, the Huskies, I think it's a combination of the Big Reds not hitting stride and the Huskies really gelling at the right time.
Wide left.
Extra point missed by Bradley, wide left. 34-7 with 9:34 ticks on the clock left to play. It's all but, you know, all she wrote now. I mean, that's a good, what, 27 points they're down.
Well, it's a miracle comeback. Not saying it would be fun to have happen. But, you know, the Big Reds just have to take the good out of this game that they know they can. They have to take what they've done well and get ready for next week. And remember, you can get a copy of this or any CPHS 6 tape for a small fee by calling 984-6621. That's 984-6621.
And there'll be a lot of people that will be calling up for that too, by the way.
Oh yeah, this is going to be for a small fee. You can charge $1 for this. I don't know what they charge. Don't go down there asking for $1. But this is a game to get no matter how much they charge.
If you do ask for $1, though, tell them Tom Hyde just sent you.
Yeah, there's a great shot of the moon breaking through the clouds there.
Yeah. Kickoff off the bounce. Taken at the 30. Some good moves. Out of bounds, 41. Nice effort. Philip Spencer on the return. And among tacklers there. For the Huskies, number 45, Lee Clemmer.
Philip Spencer, 5'7", 138.
Pretty good moves there, really. Did about all you could ask for. He didn't have a lot of room.
That takes a lot of guts, though. 138 pounds. Going out here with some of these heavy hitters, you know, it's a lot of heart.
First and 10 at the 44. Here's a reverse to Mitchell. But they had this played the whole way. Fumble, and Huskies have the football at the 33. There is nothing going the Big Reds' way at all.
The Huskies just played that play perfectly, sniffed it out the whole way. There was no fooling anybody over there. When you read a play that well, generally good things happen. Turnover, Husky ball.
Well, dare I say it, that's just tough luck.
Well, it is,
They read that like a book.
Yeah, that's a preparation combined with luck. Really, usually goes to the team that's really playing well, and that's the Huskies right now.
And they call a timeout. This is nice to see if you're a Husky fan, though. Going 0-5, they finally are going to get the goose egg off their chest. Go 1-5. Of course, Port Huron High, a very disappointing season to this point, will also go 1-5. But what does this do for Northern now, who has to go to Utica next week? A very tough game there, obviously, but this is the kind of game they want going into that game.
Oh, well, sure it is. And then with the way they're playing, I don't, you don't sell out this season short. The Huskies can, if they play this well, they could take a couple more wins out of this season.
Yeah, there's a lot you can take from this game if you're a Husky fan, and the Huskies players alike. Well, we have the backup quarterback in there right now, Andy Grant, for Port Huron Northern. You'll probably see more backup players come on the field as the game goes on. There's actually Eddie Matthews, who often starts anyway. No gain, and right about the 32. Yeah, the game starts to get out of hand when the backup players come in.
Well, it's nice to see to get the guys playing that don't get a lot of PT.
And a lot of them do some pretty decent damage when they get in there, too.
Yeah, well, a lot of second teams or whatever you want to call them are just as good. They're just maybe not have an advantage that another player has, and they just end up on the second team. Doesn't mean they're not good ball players, and they can really put the sting to you, too. 2nd
and 11 from the 33. The immediate give to Matthews. This time gets a hole and gets some yards out of it, too. Number 42, Sean Lincoln back there. You think the Big Reds defense misses Troy Perrick a bit?
I think they do. There was a guy that last year really played with 55% heart and the rest talent. He's a tough kid that really led the team. And right now, I think they miss guys like Perrick and Jared Johnson, who is injured, just for that extra spark they might need to try to get back into a game like this.
3rd and 5 at the 27-yard line. 8 minutes to go now in the game. Andy Grant, QB rollout, got plenty of time, incomplete. Kind of threw that one at his legs, but intended receiver, the punter, Aaron Kring, gets some playing time there. He's 6'4", 175. That's a big punter.
Yeah. And Andy Grant, a junior, maybe next year's starter.
This team clearly known for their height. I mean, you had Jamison last year, 6'6". And then you had what? I think Spear was in there at 6'5", and Korf even 6'4", so...
Yeah, and every year, it's been like that for years and years. They always get these tall guys. Must be something in the water up at the north end of town that really produces these kids that are 6'4".
4th and 5 from the 27. They're going for it here. Couple fakes. Andy Grant cuts up field. And not much. To about the 25. So the Big Reds offense comes out again. Once again, we'll pause for a minute of station identification. This is CPHS, Channel 6. Your continued leader in high school sports in this community. And 28-7, Huskies all over the Big Reds here. Let's do our players of the game. What do you think? First off, you want to start with the offensive, defensive units are out there. Let's start with the Huskies defensive unit. What do you think? Anybody stand out in your mind there?
Well, I like Dave Thomas on both sides of the balls. I like just the fact that he's a hitter. He goes out there, he puts the shoulder pads into you. Defensively, the Huskies have really, though, keyed with the running backs for the Big Reds, and I know I do this quite often, and you don't like it, but the defensive end, the defensive line, I'm going to give for the Huskies because they've really done an excellent job and a winning job, and the reason why they're winning is containing the offense of the Big Reds, and so the defensive line ends for the Huskies for me.
I'm going to go with Ledesma again. I thought he's played just an all-around great game. There you see a quarterback sack back at the 13-yard line. And they are just all over him now. You talk momentum. It's like the Big Reds have all but thrown in the towel. But yeah, Ledesma to me has played a great game. As I said, he's done both today. Pass coverage out there in the defensive backfield. He is a corner. He's also come up and made some fine tackles back there. So, and then you want to turn it around and say, you know, an offensive player of the game for the Big Reds. What do you think?
Well, I like Aaron Brown because he's really led the team well today under adverse conditions. You know, and he's kept us cool as a junior, and he's tried to lead this team with a few injuries. So I'm going to give it to him all the way.
2nd and 20, ball marked 14. Crossing pattern, Terry Mitchell. Been their one shining point, if you could say, offensively in this game, and I got to give it to him. He's been just a stellar receiver out there, a lot of crossing pattern receptions, and Terry Mitchell has got to get Offensive Player of the Game for the Big Reds.
Well, he seems to know how to get open today, that's for sure. Well, and every day too, but today he's really taking big chunks at a time out of the Huskies.
And you mentioned Adrian Brown, Offensive Player of the Game for the Big Reds. Somebody's got to get Terry Mitchell the ball, let's face it.
And we've seen him actually pass more than we have seen them in the past.
And I like that. Why not? Although the run hasn't exactly been the most effective for the Big Reds, or as effective in the past, you know, in past games, I said mix up the offense to combine them both, but they've done a nice job of throwing as well.
Well, I think you have to. You have to mix it up. That's how you get your running game going, is by passing.
5:37 to go now in this game.
No,
well, you talk about an Offensive Player of the Game for the Huskies. What do you think? I think there's one, basically, isn't there?
Well, you know, there's a lot of guys on the Huskies that I like, and I know I'm going to do it again to you. But without the offensive line of the Huskies, none of this is possible. They've really done a good job at blowing back the defensive line of the Big Reds. So I'm going to give it to the entire offensive line of the Huskies.
I got to go with Chris Singleton. You know, somebody had to once again, we're just, you know, killing ourselves here, so to speak. You're telling me who's throwing for a receiver, and you're telling me who's blocking for a running back. But yeah, certainly offensive line for Chris Singleton today has been special. And Singleton as well running the football. Terry Mitchell over the middle again. Heck, now you know why he's the Offensive Player of the Game for the Big Reds.
He took a stinger there. He got hit hard.
Adrian Brown throws a nice ball too, might I add.
Yeah, and I tell you what, they've really connected well today, and I'd like to see him pass more in the upcoming games here.
Well, Mitchell's always open. I mean, he's always open. He's like got a knack for it or something.
Oh.
You talk about a Defensive Player of the Game for the Big Reds. What do you think?
Well, defensively, it's always tough for the Big Reds to call a player of the game because they all hit hard. They all swarm to the ball. You know, there's just so many. The defensive backs, they've really played tough. So I'm going to go with the defensive backs just because throughout the year they've played tight against the receivers of all their opposition.
I formation, 2nd and 10, they show blitz. And they're just all over Adrian Brown there. Sack back at the 34-yard line. Among tacklers there. I mean, well, name one. John Kirby on the sack. Well, defensively, there's a few guys that I guess have stood out. You could certainly go with Jason Charlton. What the heck, I'll give it to him. You know, he's certainly shown some aggressive play, and on special teams, Charlton's been effective as well.
Well, that's where I think he's the key to one of the keys of the Big Reds is he's just so good on special teams.
Here they come again, airing it out this time to Mitchell. When Adrian Brown threw that football, Terry Mitchell was looking still at Adrian Brown, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. A little bit of miscommunication, maybe.
Well, 4th and 20. Things just keep getting harder and harder for the Big Reds here.
Now, we saw earlier some firemen out here collecting at a booth for the World Trade Center firemen and police officers. So if you see them around town, throw a couple bucks in their boot.
Yep, and for you Canadians visiting over here and maybe some Canadians at the football game, they told me they fully accept Canadian money too, so you know, feel free to. I guess they have little fireman boots there. You throw the money in.
I know you often carry a loony or a toonie.
Yes, I do. Only loonies carry loonies. Blitz on. Adrian Brown sacked again. There's that Johnny Reynolds again. I mean, we haven't mentioned him much in this game, but he's certainly been around everything that's been touched by the football, as always.
And Reynolds' last game that we saw here, just all over the place. You know, the guy's got more sacks than a potato farmer.
If you say so. If you say so. 4 minutes, 30 seconds. Your eulogies are stunning, Mr. Hyja. They really are. They give up the middle, not much. Dan Kozel.
Both of us quickly looking, thinking, okay, that's number 57 as a running back.
Well, Kozel listed here as an offensive lineman.
Which is every offensive lineman's dream, is to run the ball.
I'm not sure completely if we overlooked that or something, but...
The fridge play.
Run and gun look. QB keeper to the outside, pushed out of bounds. At the 26, tackle there made by number 42, Sean Lincoln. And Andy Grant. Pretty good speed for a backup quarterback, no doubt about it.
Well, there's a guy that you're going to see in the future next year, and maybe a little bit this year, but he could be your leader next year, so get used to the name.
And this only helps Kucera and company, who get to have an early look at him, try some things, and, you know, prepare for next year.
Scott Sharp apparently in the backfield. He's a...
Well, we have delay a game or something here. I mean...
6 foot 235 fullback.
You know, in a way, if I'm the Big Reds and the fans, I got to look across the sidelines and say, what's going on, you know? You got a 34-7 lead, and you're trying all these little gadget plays and things. Like, it's nice to see the backup players, you know, do things like this, but certainly when you're up by 27.
Yeah, well, you know, you don't really, you know, you just, if I'm a coach and I'm up by this many points, I run my offense. I don't do anything special or anything kooky or whatever. I mean, you just go out there, you play your game.
That's a great sack right there. I mean, although down by 27, the intensity's still there for Thomas Kelch, who cuts through the line, untouched, boom.
Just terribly untouched. I mean, you get that guy to do that all game, and he's a big chunk of a guy, too.
So with 3:40 left to go in this quarter, what do you think of the game on the whole, maybe the fourth quarter, too?
Well, you know, I think after halftime, the Huskies really took advantage of what they had going. They really, you know, grinded the game to a stop. They took up the time. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just chewing up time at this point, and they'll be willing to go home with the victory as it is.
Eddie Matthews shaking off some tackles. Comes forward for about 2 or 3 to the 36. And Port Huron High, Big Reds about to take over now on downs. Be 1st and 10 from them, operating from about the 36 when they continue here. 3:16 to go now in the game. A threat of rain a little bit earlier, of course. We had overcast skies, but really cleared up before the nighttime hit anyway.
Well, the weather's supposed to get nothing but nicer for the rest of the week, and next week the field will be considerably drier than it has been.
How can it get any worse, the weather, huh? Throwing up to Mitchell again. Great coverage, David Thomas. He was sitting there waiting for it.
That's a great matchup, Dave Thomas and Mitchell.
Well, David Thomas was trying to high-five Mitchell. He was taunting.
Yeah, I really do like the way that Dave Thomas plays. He plays well bigger than he is. He's not afraid to go out there and hit. Well, you know, it's a test going against Mitchell, so, you know, he's played well all game.
I certainly don't see the Huskies ending their year with one victory. The way they played tonight, if they play this way, you know, good disciplined football, using your strengths to their strengths, there you go. You know, next week, who knows?
Oh, that's the key to the Huskies right now, and they did today. Certainly took advantage of the holes that they've seen with the Huskies, or the Big Reds, excuse me. They really used those screen plays to their advantage, and a game that I thought certainly would be much closer than 34-7.
And when a guy like Jared Johnson's already out of the game, if you can take Josh Collier out of the game, like their game plan obviously was to do, there you go. I mean, they didn't allow Collier to beat them in the first half, and that's how you beat the Big Reds.
Well, you know, you stop their running game because they've got a lot of guys who can run, Browning included.
Good counter to the blitz, a pitch back. Browning to the 49 of the Huskies, first down.
And to continue my thought, even a guy like Jared Johnson, who is an impact player on offense and defense, you take him out of the mix and it makes it tough. But the big connection I've seen that I like with the Big Reds and what they can take into the locker room for next week is the Adrian Brown-Terry Mitchell connection, which has just been so useful this game and really done well. I'm not sure how many yards they have combined, but together they've really racked up some yardage.
First and 10 at the 49, 2.5 minutes to go. Brown, a QB keeper by the looks of things, directing the blocking, cuts upfield. He ran pretty hard there for a quarterback, and he's still on his feet to the 30. That's a gutsy leadership type run of about 23.
And how many times do you see that out of a junior? Pointing to where he wants the blocks, keeping his head. I mean, that's a good sign for the Big Reds. They're gonna take him into next year, and they're gonna have a heck of a quarterback coming out.
And they can try some different looks with Adrian Brown for next year. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. This kid's got a lot of talent. You know, they can maybe get the option look in there for a little bit because he's got the wheels. You know, maybe get some pass protection for him, kind of move around in the pocket, outside the pocket, sure.
Well, I like the thought of the option because he really does know how to keep a cool head. He's going to have great experience for next year. You know, there's a guy that can run an option offense.
First and 10 from the 31, and he just overthrew Terry Mitchell on this one. Just under 2 minutes in ticks left on the clock. Not much you can really say about this game. Once again, early Big Red mistakes, and we'll say it too, early luck by the Huskies. Really, the momentum was all the Huskies, and it didn't end.
Well, you know, I think what the Huskies completed this game was to get the Big Reds, out of their game plan. They shook their confidence a little bit. They went up early, and the Big Reds just never recovered.
Now there's Jared Johnson right there on the sideline. He's got crutches on there, so I wonder how serious that injury is. We didn't really hear what it was. Adrian Brown picked off, 10-yard line, cutting upfield, down about the 24. Mike MacArthur. He's had a great game, too. Let's not kid ourselves. Singleton might overshadow a little bit, but...
Well, you know, just he plays consistent ball. I like a guy on my team that plays consistent, hard-nosed football. MacArthur, I take every day, any day, because he's going to get your picks. He's got good run back after the catch yardage, and I mean he's a heck of a ball player that's really understated a lot.
It's a lot of those, really. 2 wideouts, 2 back set again. The give straight up the middle. Number 59 for the Big Reds, Lee Ward, got there and pushed him back in a hurry. Brings up second in about 6.
The crowd beginning to thin out here at Memorial Stadium.
Well, it hasn't really been a game for a lot of it, to be honest with you.
Well, the Huskies have really taken the second half and really played their football and really just taken the Big Reds completely out of this game.
Matthews on the carry, nothing much, down at the 30. Ball is dead, of course. Number 16 on the tackle, Bobby Reel. Just under a minute now, 54 seconds to go in the game. Obviously just trying to run the clock out here now, nothing fancy. Third and 2 from the 32, man in motion for the Huskies. Andy Grant. Gives straight up the middle again, Josh Cook. 6 foot, 156. Backup player and a senior, so it's good to see him get some playing time. And they've secured their final first down of this game, so what do you think, Tom? Final thoughts on this one?
Well, I think the Big Reds really early on got taken out of their game. Like I said, I think they needed to play their game plan against this Husky team. The Husky team took advantage of the holes they found and really took it to the Big Reds this game.
And that officially is going to do it by the looks of things from Memorial Stadium. The Super Bowl of Port Huron. The rivalry has once again come to an end for yet another year. Final score 34-7. The Huskies beat the Big Reds. This is CPHS, Channel 6, your home of high school boys and their football action. Another great rivalry season has come and gone now. It's all about wrapping up your season with some, well, possibly some more wins for both teams. Both teams fall to 1-5. I'm Derek Wark, the Big D. Hyde, Tom Hyja, saying goodbye without his headset on. See you next week, folks.
Presentation of the Rick Fowler Memorial Trophy. Show of sportsmanship and the presentation of the Rick Fowler Memorial Trophy.
I know he had at least two. He heard us. All the people in the
This time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to direct your attention to midfield, where the area athletic director for the Port Huron Area School District, Mr. Gordon Jamison, will make the presentation of the Rick Fowler Memorial Trophy to head coach Casey Kutsera and the Port Huron Northern Huskies. Congratulations, Huskies. Well played game.